Hi, guys. How are you? How are we feeling this week? Welcome back to Thoughts of the Week. I feel like I should do maybe some sort of jingle sound like Thoughts of the Week. Anyone that is good at mixing and blending, maybe if I just do something now saying Thoughts of the Week, you can take it, mash it up, put a beat over it. I've seen people do wilder things with shorter clips. So, anyone that is really talented in that area, I'm going to do it for you one more time. Thoughts of the week. Surely you must be able to chop it up and put a beat over it, make it something, send it to me, and we can take it from there. But anyway, welcome back to Thoughts of the Week. I am going to keep it 110% with you. I do not want to do this week. I don't want to do it because sis has had a really, really interesting week. My emotions have been all over the place. I've had good news. I've had bad news. Life, I feel like January in general, people are just it's just blah. But to be fair, I was saying this to someone last night actually. It doesn't feel like January. It feels like it could be December. Like it almost doesn't feel as if we've gone into a new year, if that makes sense. If someone told me we was veering towards the end of the year, I'd be like, yeah, it feels like that because that's what it feels. It doesn't feel for me as if it's a new year. I understand. Do you get what I'm saying? And I don't know if that says that I'm getting older. You kind of just realize, all that kind of new year, new me, it's a bit of bullshit. It's actually just bullshit because what is the difference between December the 31st and January the 1st? Absolutely nothing. People are like, oh yeah, I'm going to change 2024. Da, 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 da. I stopped doing that, I feel like maybe 2-3 years ago. I just thought, it's the same shit. Like it's actually just going to be the same shit. Whatever I was dealing with today on December the 31st, I will be dealing with on January the 1st. It doesn't just miraculously disappear. Like all my horrible traits or someone else's horrible traits or bad habits, they don't just miraculously disappear. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we romanticize the new year too much. It's not that much of a big deal. It's the new day. It's the next day. All right? Obviously you can tell I'm in fucking Scrooge mode at the moment, and maybe this is my therapy. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but all I know is I'm talking and words are coming out. But yeah, I said that to say this. I don't feel like necessarily doing hot topics, but you know what? I thought to myself, I'm going to come and I'm going to record hot topics because that's life. Life is not easy. And I don't mean it to say it in a way of like, oh, life is hard, woe is me. It's just life is life, You have good days, you have bad days, you have times when you feel sad, you feel times when you feel happy, but you just have to keep going. And that's always my thing. Just keep going. Even if your keep going is you're crying through the keep going, if that even makes sense. Just keep going. Keep going, guy. Keep going, girl. Keep going. Like, just keep going, mate. Anyway, I said all of that. That's the thing with me. I can be like really sad, but I'm going to laugh as well. Because also, you always are going to laugh. When you are sad, you will have a little laugh here and there. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah. So, anyway, hot topics. What's been happening this week? Thoughts of the week. Okay, so basically, everybody is upset with Young Philly. Okay, Young Philly and Els the Witch. They stream. They're streamers. They do Twitch. They do a lot of live Twitches and all that good stuff. I really think maybe one day I should try Twitch, but I don't know. It's a bit, that world is very weird to me. But anyway, I digress. So they have partnered up or done some sort of deal with Army Jobs, and a tweet went out. Army Jobs tweeted it. And it was about Young Philly and Els the Witch playing Fortnite, streaming live on Twitch. And I guess people didn't like it because they were saying that, the army is targeting young people. That's not right. And then obviously a lot of people were linking it to what's happening in the world right now. And they were saying that, you can't be saying free Palestine and all these type of things. And then you're then supporting an organization that may be funding all of these things. Okay. And then on the other hand, people saying, about them recruiting young people and what this. The thing that I don't understand with the internet these days, is that everyone seems to just always be on a moral high ground, right? Everyone always seems to be telling people what they would and wouldn't do. okay, in positions maybe that they have never had to even think about their morals on that level, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Everyone is always so quick to say, oh, you shouldn't have taken that money. You shouldn't have done that money, done this deal. But have you ever had that type of test of your quote unquote morals? Right. I want to kind of concentrate on the aspect of people talking about how that it's really bad that the army are using this platform to target young kids, to recruit them for the army. And isn't that really immoral? And I always wonder when I see things like this, it's like, where do people draw the line? Because you got all this vim for young Philly, and oh, he's promoting young kids being promoted by the army, and being you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't even look for the word. Anyway, he's talking about young people being recruited by the army and whatnot. But why don't you have this vim for your local drug dealer? Why don't you have this vim for the local drug dealer that is recruiting the young boys on the street and sending them to Cunch? Why don't you have this vim for the music that, because that maybe your little brother or the young kids or your son or whoever is listening to? Why don't you have that vim? Because like, why are you worried about them? Why are you worried at this point? Should you not be worried about your children playing Fortnite in the first place? Like, do you get what I mean? There's so many other levels that you should have been worried at before it got to this level, before you came on the internet and started doing think pieces. And that's what I don't understand about society. It's like everyone has these like moral standpoints, but why are you okay with one thing and then not the other? Is it like, is it just the lesser of evils that you're do you get what I'm saying? Because you can't, the same theory that you're applying, oh, they're recruiting young kids, this is really bad, this is what like, what about, I I see, I don't like, if my son said he wanted to join the army, I'm gonna be more happy about him wanting to join the army than I would about him wanting to do criminal activity, or him being a drug dealer, or him doing other things. You know, there's pros and there's cons to joining the army. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, it's just, I feel like everyone has these moral standpoints, and you think that you're saying so much, but you're not really saying anything. And you put these little trigger words in to make yourself seem like I would never. And it's like, and if you probably did a deep dive into your skincare products, the companies that you work for, even if you do like a 9 to 5, if you did research into your companies, the shoes you probably have in your feet, like the drinks that you're drinking, like all of these things, you're probably backing some sort of organization that is backing a wrong cause, if that makes sense. So it's like, where do we draw the line? Where do you draw the line of, oh, you can't do this because that means you're in support of this, or you're condoning this? And I understand there definitely are times when things have to be boycott, and there's power in numbers, and if we all stop doing one thing, then yes, it will have an effect on something. I totally understand, and I'm all for that, but I just don't like it when people kind of just jump on your everyday person, because they are everyday people. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has families to feed. Everyone has, you know, personal goals that they want to reach, things that they have to do, the bills that they have to continue to pay. And I just think we have to be very careful about jumping on people for things that really you probably would do in a heartbeat yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? And it just really, it just I just look at it and I just think, okay, like, when did everyone get so high and mighty? When did everyone all of a sudden now feel like it's okay to bully other people? Like, to the point, it's just so, I don't know. I think we're going down a really weird um route in life where people are not even angry. They're not actually angry. They just pretend to be angry, and they like the involvement of online rage. Like I feel like people enjoy the sport of online rage. It's like a sport now. It's like, what can we do? Who can we jump on and all pile on and act like we're so righteous and we're doing, we are all high and mighty, and then project everything onto them, make ourselves feel nice at the same time. But you'll probably do the same thing in a heartbeat. Yeah. But yeah, also there is a conversation about what you will and won't do. Like when do you draw the like when do you say no to money? Like when do your morals and your money, when does it override? One of my favorite programs is back. Love Island is back, and it's the All Stars. And I don't really know how I feel about Love Island All Stars, if I'm being honest with you, because I just don't think something's not gelling for me. Now, disclaimer: am I going to watch every episode and try to keep up to date? 110%. You better fucking believe it. I'm going to be there watching it every night, 9 o'clock, joining in with Twitter. Because what is the point of watching Love Island if you're not doing it on Twitter? What is the point? Anyway, I just don't think it's slapping. I think the beauty of Love Island is them not knowing each other, and then the seeing the connection and them being surprised. The fact that they all know each other, to me, kind of takes away the zhuzh of Love Island, if that makes sense. And I almost feel like as well, is if anything was ever going to happen between any of these, they would have seen each other out. Like you would have seen it. There's enough PLT events that have happened for all of these people to bump into each other. There's enough nights that have happened. There's enough soap awards. There's been enough events, okay, for these motherfuckers to have seen each other before. And that's what kind of is not gelling with me. I want to talk about my good sis Kaz. And I like Kaz. I see Kaz out and we always say hello to each other. She's a really nice vibe, and I've even interviewed her for Plus 44. She's cool vibes, but I just want to know why Kaz went back on that show. Why did Kaz go back on there? Kaz didn't, and I want to know, and I'm just thinking, I feel like all of them have gone back on there for the bag, if that makes sense. Like they've just gone back on to build their profile again and to get the bag. And I hear it. I get what they're saying. And that's the only reason why I can think Kaz would subject herself to go on that show when the first time was a letdown for her. Okay, sis went in there the first time and we all watched her be made to feel like she wasn't desirable, like she wasn't nice, like she wasn't like we all saw that the first time round. So why, when you know it's all-star lineup, it's not going to be new man in there. It's not new man from around the ends that might go in there. It's already old people that you know. So why would you go back on there? I don't know. And then that Louis guy, Kaz, he doesn't like you. Like I saw a clip today and I genuinely was just like, Kaz, you must be able to tell that this guy doesn't like you. And a part of me thinks, is this how sometimes women just don't read the signs, and then you think someone likes you and then he doesn't like you, and now 3 months down the line you're saying, oh, but he just treats me like, and it's like, but he never treated you nice in the first place, sis. Like, where was where? And this is what I'm saying. Sometimes I feel like, and this is outside of Kaz now. This is what I like to do when I do my thoughts of the week. I will take things that I see and then I'll apply it to the wider audience, okay? And this is what I think. I think sometimes as women, we're so delulu, like we have so much self-confidence and we think we're so much the shit that we can't even see when the energy is not being reciprocated. Like we've gassed ourselves up so much, not me, because I don't do this. I'm sorry, I am going to be one of the girls that I don't do it, because I need you to tell me that you like, I need to hear them words come out your mouth before I even start moving a certain type of way in it. So it's like, and Kaz has had too many conversations with this guy not to be able to read the room to see that he's not feeling you and he's not giving you the energy that he should be giving you. But it makes me think, have we indulged so much in self-worth and self-confidence that now we are delulu to the actual like body language of somebody that we're trying to entertain? Because that's the only thing I can think. Because how can you not feel that body language? How can you not see that this man is literally giving you breadcrumbs, and then you can see him chatting to your friend and giving her the most? Yet there has to be a level of like, I am so amazing that why would you not like me? And I feel like this is the energy that a lot of women have. And I get it, but I feel like down the road, it's going to be a disaster because you've built yourself up, but that's not the reality of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like Kaz should have known from the first conversation that my man wasn't feeling him. And then I'm seeing a conversation on Twitter now about girl code and about, oh, because Kaz liked him and Demi knew that Kaz liked him and Louis and Demi have kissed. Is that out of order? No. Demi, this is what I mean. I'm sorry. if me and my friend like somebody the same, right, and especially in the it's a show as well, because we all know what they're there for, but even in the normal world, yeah, if me and my friend like the same guy and he likes me, am I supposed to not like the guy now because he don't like my friend? Nah, never. I'm sorry, like, it's fair game, innit? Whoever he likes, he likes. And now I'm not supposed to kiss him because he don't like you. Sis, take the L and go. And also, I feel like if your friend doesn't want you to be happy, then there's low key, look at your friend. Because it's always the girl, they always try to make the girl who kisses the guy seem bad. But what about your friend that clearly knows the guy doesn't like her, and wants you to be unhappy? That has happened to me once, actually. I had a friend and she liked this guy, and she had a house party, and I knew she likes the guy, okay? But it was kind of obvious that he didn't like her because he would have made a move by now, And we was at the party, and I've never met this guy before. We at the party, and we kind of took a shining to each other. We liked each other. Nothing had ever gone on between them two, by the way. Like, my friend and this guy, nothing had ever gone on between them. But she liked him. He didn't like her like that. He happened to like me like that, and she was upset that he liked me, and she said that I shouldn't talk to him because she liked him. And my thing was, no, like, I think he's nice. He thinks I'm nice. He doesn't like you. You two have never dated. You've not even kissed. That's life. Like, you can't have everything. Like, it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. And yeah, I get it's not a nice pill to swallow and it feels a bit like rejection. But then my thing was, if you was really my friend and you cared for my happiness, why would you not let us talk? Like, why wouldn't you let us talk? If you cared about me as a friend, then why would you not let me talk to him? If you want happiness for me. We like each other. He don't like you. Anyway, so that's kind of how, and I just think that, it's not girl code. Demi's done nothing wrong. They're there for love, okay? He likes Demi more. What I do think, though, that Kaz and Demi should do is have a conversation. If you're actually friends, have a conversation and say, what's he telling you and what's he telling me? And I think that's sometimes how you can kind of eradicate something, and then you can see if he's playing playing you two off of each other. That's the only thing I think Kaz and Demi should do, is have a conversation. What's he saying to you? He told me this. He told me when he spoke to you that this, and then you can see what's really going on. But this whole idea of like girl code, I need women to understand there's no such thing as girl code. There's no such thing as girl code. There is no such thing as girl code. The girls that are being nice to you are your friends, and that's how it's supposed to be. The girls that are not going to sleep with your man or whatever, or take your man or whatever, that's your friends. That's how it's supposed to be. Expecting another woman who you don't really know, and you might say hello to hi here and there, but to have some sort of loyalty to you, and it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. And because ultimately everybody wants to be loved. You're asking women to pick the desire to be loved, which is naturally in us, over some girl that they don't know, really. Come on. All of us. This is not fairy tale. This is real life. And it doesn't work like that. I expect my friends to be loyal to me, and that's about it. Even my associates, maybe they have some sort of loyalty to me, and that's it. But don't expect me to be loyal or have some sort of girl code to some girl whose number I don't have in my phone book. I just don't. It's too many women in the world, and the world is too small now. Everyone thinks they know each other. Now I can't chat to this man because a girl that knows a girl that knows a girl that I say hi to once in a while. No, sorry. Bye. Not for me. I've got a question. Why is it never okay to hate, quote unquote, on Drake? So I don't know if you've seen this. So that we have because it's been everywhere. Mos Def the other day was in an interview. A young lady, the interviewer asked him if he considered Drake hip hop, and he kind of basically said he considers Drake to be like commercial hip hop, I guess, like music that you would play in in a shopping mall, like a Target, or like over here, I guess it would be like a Zara or whatever. You'd hear Drake in that store. So he said it was like edgy hip hop, and I kind of guess what I hear what he's saying, and I've got questions actually. One, why no one can ever hate on Drake or say anything bad about Drake. I would love to be in that position where literally anyone who ever said anything about me would get called out as a hater. My fans are all going to come to my defense. But I feel like it's a dangerous position for someone to be that powerful that no one can ever critique them. Now, I feel that everybody else, there's always an open conversation. You know, when there's these dumb conversations online about Jay-Z, Nas, Andre 3000, Lil Wayne, all these, there's a healthy open debate about it, if that makes sense. You can have a rebuttal. No, I don't think Jay-Z's good. Or yes, I do think Jay-Z's good. No, I don't think Nas is good. Yes, I do think Jay. Like, do you get what Nas is good for this reason, etc. Blah 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 blah. No, yes, people will be like, oh, you're capping or whatever. But I feel like the conversation is so much more healthier. There's more room for ideas and ideologies. But when it comes to Drake, there is never any conversation about. There's never room to not like him, if that makes sense. The moment you do not like this guy, you are a hater, and I just don't think that is healthy. Because then how are we ever gonna, and I almost feel like people are scared to critique him, or say anything bad about him, because then if you do, you get not blackballed by him or anything, but people then are look at you sideways, or now you're a hater or you're a bad vibes. Because it's like, if you don't like Drake, then of course you're bad vibes. How could you not like Drake? And my thing is, does he make amazing music? Yes. Is he incredibly talented? Yes. Is his catalogue dumb? Yes. All of these above, yes. But do I think that once in a while, maybe he doesn't make a great song? Yes. Do I think once in a while he's pretty corny? Yes. Do I think once in a while I look at him and I think, I question your place in the culture sometimes. I like, like, is why can these conversations not be had without being called a hater? On the other hand, I would love also to have a conversation about what is hip hop. Okay. And this was the conversation, because if to say Drake is not hip hop, I think that doesn't make sense, because yes, he is some form of hip hop, 110%. Okay, definitely. But that's why I feel that we really need to start using subcategories for hip hop, because the idea that someone like Sexy Red is classed as hip hop to me is wild. The idea that Ice Spice is classed as hip hop to me is wild, because yes, okay, she's rapping or doing something, but let's be honest, the most love she gets is when she turns around and shakes her ass. I've seen it in real life. Like, literally, I watched her at Wireless. The crowd was mute every time she was rapping, but the moment she turned around and shook her ass, it was screaming. If, as a female rapper, the most response you get is when you shake your ass is from a crowd, that's wild to me. And I would reevaluate my position if I actually took music seriously. If you're just here for the checks and for whatever, then yeah, like, do what you're doing. But if you actually are a musician and you class yourself as an artist, and you know that the only time you get a good roar from the audience is when you shake your ass, I feel like you should reevaluate your artistry, if that makes sense. But anyway, so the fact that these people get included into the into discussion of hip hop is the reason why I feel like we need to start using subcategories a lot, because I feel like someone like Sexy Red, Ice Spice, all them genres of girls, it should be like ratchet hip hop music, or uh uh ghetto fabulous music, or uh, low vibration. So I don't know, but I don't feel that we should be including people like Sexy Red, Ice Spice, all these people in with greats in the same conversation. No. And I think that's why, because what hip hop used to be is not what hip hop is now. I think what hip hop was when Mos Def was around is not what hip hop is seen now. And I think that's the reason why there's always these conversations about what is hip hop and what is not. The same reason why there's always these conversations about what R&B is, and is R&B the same, because I think a lot of us are still living in the past, which is a good and a bad thing, if that makes sense. So also, I think hip hop now, or hip hop culture, has become popular culture. So again, even on our own doorstep, there was a conversation about Unknown T, and maybe why his album didn't do as well as people would have liked it to have done, because it's a really good project, and why it didn't go high up in the charts. And there was a conversation about he's competing with a lot of like pop stars, if that makes sense. And they included uh, uh, DBE in there, and they included some other rappers in there. And I think the conversation, I think what it is that we have to understand that hip hop culture and hip hop is now popular. It's popular culture. It's not this little subcategory that, it was underground and it was niche, and the Mos Defs, and it was, what I mean? It was all artsy, and it felt gritty, and it felt, I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I mean, how hip hop felt back in the day. And it didn't feel glossy. And I think people like Drake, they feel glossy because they populate the popular culture charts very well. And that is what hip hop is now. Hip hop is not a small category. We see it in everyday life. We see it in adverts. You've got Tesco's doing a bloody drill theme or tune, or whoever it was, IKEA, whoever. These are big boy organizations that everyone in the Western, Julie down the road with her 7-year-old child is watching a drill advert now on mainstream TV. Kids are doing hip hop dances for things. All right, Dave. Do you get what I mean? So it's popular culture now. So I think we need to steer away from the idea of hip hop is this ooh, yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but it's that feeling of it's not that anymore. And that's why people like Mos Def probably don't understand the Drakes, and maybe why I don't understand the Sexy Reds and the Ice Spice. But I just think we need to start using subcategories for hip hop. And I think once we start using subcategories for hip hop, then a lot of conversations will go out of the window. Also, I think that UK artists, just want to throw it in there off the back of the Unknown Teen conversation. I feel like UK rappers need to do better at promoting their albums. I think UK rappers feel sometimes that they don't need to do as much promo, because obviously they might have like a high strong presence on social media and stuff. And that's one thing I realize about the Americans. They will do the rounds. They will do the promo rounds. They are going to go to every single mainstream thing, and then they're going to go to all maybe the underground, the the blogs or the platforms that reach the people. I don't feel, and whenever I have these conversations, everyone always thinks I'm talking about people coming on my show. I couldn't. Like, yes, it would be great if people came, though, like, Unknown Teen came on the show. But if I'm being honest with you, I've stopped asking a lot of these people, because it's just always the same answer. It's always like, oh yeah, whatever the answer is. And after a while you just get bored of it. And there's no malice. It is what it is. I understand the game. I understand how it works. People do what is best for their project at the time. But my thing is that why have I not gone on social media and seen Unknown T's album everywhere? Why have I not seen it on every single one of the why have I not seen? I think I saw one interview of him, and that was with Billy the Goat. And it was for, yeah. That's it. That's all I've seen. And I might have missed something. I'm not saying I haven't. And it's not just about him. I feel as if it's with a lot of the UK um artists. There's something about us. And I don't know if it's like we don't want to look like we're begging. Sorry. I don't know if it's we don't want to look like we're begging. We don't want to look like we want to look too cool for school. We want to seem, like we don't need to say, oh, get we. But all I know is that them Americans, when it comes to doing their album promo, them motherfuckers is gonna be doing the absolute most. I've seen people that are huge doing the most. Speaking of Drake, he makes sure he does the rounds, or he does some, you know what I mean? There's other big artists that will make sure they do the rounds as if they're not who they are. But for some strange reason, artists over here, they always feel like they don't need to. "Oh, I'm just gonna do one. I'm gonna do one big piece with like the Guardian, or I'm gonna do one." And I don't know if it's to do with their PR teams, or their PR teams not understanding how it works. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely don't know. But I feel like we have these conversations every single time about the lack of press that happens with the rollout, the thought process behind the rollout. I feel as if when people feel that they get to a certain level, they don't need to do as much promo and rollout, and then they're shocked as to why people are maybe don't really know what's going on. And I just think it's food for thought. Hi, Dave. Do you agree with me? I do. Anyway, this has been my thoughts of the week. It's been all over the place because my brain is literally all over the place. So it's just random thoughts. But like I said, I didn't want to start last week and then when I was all like in a great mood, and then this week because I'm not in a good mood, I didn't put it out. Said I made a promise to myself that I was going to try and do it every week. So this is it. This is my thoughts of the week. Let me know what you think. We out. And remember what I said. Keep going. Keep going.